Our last speaker for this session is Mr. Albert Wimmer, who is an architect from Vienna with a wide range of experience in constructing healthcare facilities, urban design, and sports and leisure facilities. I believe he's talking about the recent experience in Vienna North Hospital. So let's welcome Albert.
Honorable members of the International Academy for Design and Health, distinguished guests and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really delighted and honored to present to you, coming from Europe, our latest example of contribution to a health-supporting urban environment in correlation to the Healthy City movement. But please let me at this moment also introduce my dear friend, colleague and partner, Mr. Semir Supcevic, who has accompanied me from Vienna, Austria. Why Vienna? Vienna, first of its location in the very center of Europe. We always say it's a sort of bridge between East and West. And we hope you all can come if we do this conference in Vienna. Secondly, because it's well known not only for music, but for a lot of other things. But I would like to stress the point also for a lot of research work. And thirdly, and that's probably very important, in 2012 was the first conducted worldwide comparison of cities regarding innovation, technology, sustainability, and Vienna was listed first, one ahead of Toronto, Paris, and New York. To provide you with a short overview of the topics our atelier is working and concerned with and specialized on. You see our devotions, and our devotions are related to infrastructure, to sport facilities, oh, it's coming. Sometimes it takes longer. We realize that. And also, of course, master planning and dealing with open space. But to create a lucky town, as I like to call it, there is always important an initial point of development. And this is, in this specific case, the complete restructuring of the Viennese hospital landscape, or as I like to call it, the transformation from the 19th century to the 21st century and even beyond. And I'd like very much this picture of Kandinsky, who always speaking landscape with red dots. So the new hospital we are involved in is one of these red dots. The hospital will be one of 7 specialized hospitals in Vienna, established a partly new set of priorities in other hospitals, combined with shifting existing hospitals and departments from their present location to the Vienna North Hospital, and is improving the healthcare services significantly. The new hospital, with its central piazza in front of itself, helps to embed the healthcare facility with its urban surroundings and offers an invitingly open space for everyone, not only those who are connected to the hospital in either way. In this regard, the organism of Vienna North Hospital, I will explain then in the next pictures, will be an included part of the city, as each hospital of the future, I think, has to be. When we are speaking about creating healthy cities, as we did a lot in the last 3 days, we should be very aware of the requirements in terms of planning and realization. And taking out of our internal aims, I just want to say we're thinking so much about identity of quarters. And we are so much thinking about values, creating values in terms of realization. And that means our responsibilities. And speaking about responsibilities, it's even more to distinguish between the different interests and to moderate at an early stage between different interest groups. And as you know, interests of municipality, interests of citizens, and interests of real estate developers might be conflicting. But there is always a chance to moderate them and to get a win-win situation for all of them. But let us now take a look at the restructure program of Vienna's healthcare system up to the year 2030 and the main efforts we are dealing with. You see, there is a lot of hospitals closed and 7 cooperating hospital organizations with centralized organizations, specific themes will be established. And as I mentioned before, there are again requirements. And our requirements in this specific case, as we are doing the key project at the moment, is the hospital should be part of the city. It should be more than a hospital. Of course, the salutogenic design approach is the basic, and there should be, in the final result, a health quarter and a sustainable area which is existing. So my first important message was, in this situation, we don't transfer, we have to transform the whole system. To give you just a new figure, a few figures about what we are dealing is, it's about 2,000 up to 3,000 people working there at the moment. And to give another figure, which is relevant probably, you will see that we have frequencies of ambulance about 200,000, and in primary care patients about 50 to 60,000. But let's now explore the site where we're working. And you see, in terms of sustainability, that at this very moment, we are just using a quarter of the brown field, which is in the middle of a city, which is in the middle of an area of tremendous expanding of the city, because the city is growing. It's very fast growing according to the role, as I mentioned before, between East and West. And please notice, I learned it yesterday, we have a curved entrance building. It's not a straight line, it's a gesture which says you are welcome. And notice also these little bits and pieces on the piazza, and the piazza has nothing to do with the hospital, but it's a contribution, an urban contribution to the city itself. And you look at the parasols, the benches, the trees, and all that are results of the debates with the neighborhoods. The furnishment aim to create a well-being zone for everyday use and is open to the public. So what was the idea? The idea was, once public does use this area, we'll overcome the 19th century where we had walls around the areas just to define them, now to open them, and they will lower down anxious situations, because hopefully none of us has to go to the hospital, but if one goes, one knows where we are. And of course, the building of one component which was not part of the competition, it was an added value. All projects we are doing are offspring of competitions. And this building is used as a sort of filter to the hospital. And it's a surplus in terms of residential units. You can call it patient hotel. It's a surplus in terms of medical practices, rehabilitation rooms, and further things which leads to the community. So it's a link between the community and the hospital itself. Once you see these pictures, you see immediately what was mentioned so often in our conference. Easy orientation, best orientation and light, and the best is daylight, of course. So it's flooded by light, as we like to say, and I will show you later on more pictures on that. Vienna North Hospital aims to achieve an optimal symbiosis between a pavilion-type hospital, as it was common in the beginning of the 20th century, and a central hospital. Both designs feature specific advantages. The pavilion type is characterized through high individuality and generous green space. The central hospitals, which are often constructed as a podium structure on the basement floor, provide short distances. How did we now combine these very different concepts? This symbiosis will be accomplished by constructing podium on which a so-called free floor used as promenade deck will be located. Above that floor, the bed wings reach out towards the healing garden. In order to network the departments with the required supply facilities, Vienna North Hospital is equipped with a driverless transport system. The landscape design that unites the ideas of well-being, healing, growth and recovery in a holistic rural concept extends through a whole hospital. Roof gardens and light flooded atriums affect each part of the building and make nature tangible. The design enables an optimal solution for the workflow and organizational processes, as well as full supply via short distances, both horizontally and vertically. So in terms, Vienna North Hospital aims to achieve an optimal... Not again. We'd like to continue because time is short, as we experienced. So the creation of an healing environment includes, as we mentioned, healing gardens and the use of healing art. And this was in our project a very extreme importance. Of course, it's a therapy gardens according to the whole concept of the hospital. But the most important is atriums have been everywhere. So every working place has daylight, without any exceptions. And as you see, the park is sort of flooding the whole building. It's not just a terrace or just an entrance situation. It's a combination, and that's what we speak in terms of networking, of connecting space, connecting pathways, and connecting people. And as you realize here, it really goes through the building, and even the maquette should show how it's planned. Another important point was the creation of an interdisciplinary emergency unit, and that has a lot of impact how the whole hospital is run. And of course, also, as I said it before, the organization of the surgical area was done in that way. It's a U form we have formed, that every operational theater has daylight. All these advantages we wanted to have for every room. Some pictures from the site at the moment, but as I said, that easy orientation is important, so it supported of course, by the furnishing elements. And it's furnishing elements which don't create barriers or separation, but shows openness again. And there is another issue we defined, and I think that's a sort of invention. And let me explain shortly what is the mobile cabinet. The overall design of Vienna's North Hospital and its equipment, it is determined by the vision, the patient comes first. Sustainment and self-reliance and personality, dignity and identity are crucial points to make Vienna North Hospital a feel-good hospital. For this hospital, we developed a mobile cabinet, an entirely new piece of furniture that works as a detached and movable cabinet and escorts the patient on all their ways. That means all their belongings are with them, and they are still a personality. They are not nothing in the hospital, losing their personality, but to create a strong identity. And this cabinet is going with the patient. Either it's going to the X-ray station or wherever he or she is moving in. To come again, what have been the major issues? Community placemaking, patient orientation, healing environment, of course, and probably, as well said, in time and in costs. And of course, we had all the criteria of sustainability. There was an extra group working on that. Coming finally, again, to the restructuring of the whole area, you see there is going on a complete shifting to a new level of support. And I won't forget what we learned in a very early session here. How is the communication? How is the patient side? How have they been involved?
At Vienna North Hospital, there's particular emphasis on the recovery phase and the great atmosphere. The colors, scents, and views contribute to that. As patients, we were involved in the project right from the start.
And that meant that we had the involvement in the complete process, all the staff, all the patient groups, and up to now we have about much more than 1,000 meetings with all the teams. And that's quite a new experience we did, but it reckoned for lots of reasons. And just to show you the pictures, how these meetings have been. But it was a crucial point for us. And so, at the very end, let me make a remark which would be very nicely. Until now, we have been discussing based on outstanding presentations, very interesting and extraordinary research works. I think our project, Vienna North, has meets a lot of the mentioned postulates. It would be a dream if we, and I think well worth pursuing, to take research works and investigation techniques and probably evaluations for pursuit of the anchor project of Vienna. So if there's any chance, great pleasure. Thanks for your time.